Okay, I am, as you said, Jackie Davis, and I have a very bad voice today because I've just finished a run of Black Odyssey at Trinity Rep, where I was an actor. I act, direct, and choreograph, and am currently rehearsing for Laughs in Spanish by Alexis Shear, which will be at Boston Playwrights in a couple of weeks. I think I always wanted to act. As a child, I was always coming up with scenarios and putting things together and forcing my 4 siblings to act them out. I fell into it, to be honest with you. I was a dancer, not a formally trained dancer or a formally trained actor, but I fell into dancing, and I was asked to audition for Midsummer Night's Dream. And I went to be a fairy to dance, and the director asked me to read for Helena, and this was in 1999, and I haven't looked back since. Yes, during the pipeline, I knew nothing about the Providence scene. I was a Boston actor, and at that time doing a lot more choreography than acting. And I came down to audition for The Bluest Eye by Lydia Diamond. And that's how I met Don King and Don Mays, who was directing at the time, and Megan Sandberg-Zakian, who is now in New York. And I was cast as Mrs. Breedlove, and they invited me back to do Etymology of Bird, and they invited me back to do the lead role of Agnes in Bug. So I spent an entire season. They asked me to be an artistic associate, I think that's what they called us. So I was on board for the year following that season, and then they closed down the following year. It was just a really positive vibe, professionally run theater company, people of color, people who looked like me, who wanted to tell stories that I didn't have to dream up a character because these were my people, these were my stories. Also the vibe, the place was funky. They had Afrosonic. I missed my train many a night because I was busy dancing to drummers and missed the train and had to stay overnight. The family that we became, I'm still friends with Kathy Moyer, who is now the production manager at the Rights and Reason Theater as part of the Africana Studies at Brown. And it just was a really great electric time. When I was doing The Bluest Eye, I said to myself, I'm going to live here, and I'm going to live within walking distance of this theater. And it happened a year later, but at that time was just when they were going out of business. I think they played a really huge role. We were reviewed by Projo, Broadway World. There were family connections within the community. Of course, Don started, yes, I was trying to remember the way that Anthony Burton, AKA Rage, said, "Sound session!" And it was beautiful. So I think that Don King played an integral part in the Providence art community without a doubt. Absolutely. There's Michelle, or Michael. She's a poet. I have 2 of her books laying around somewhere. She's still a very vibrant part of the Providence spoken word scene. Priscilla, whose last name is not going to come to me until after you leave, but still a part now of a network of Black actresses of a certain age, where we put on productions with Rose Weaver called Black Women Taking Off the Mask. Rafini, who was a big part of the Black Rep, our paths didn't cross while I was with the company, but we are very close sisters now. Who else can I name? I've said Don Mays, I've said Megan, Michael. Those are really mainly the people that I stayed in touch with, or have become a part of my world now. fire is just a big ball of fire. He's intense, you know. Don walks with this heat. Like, it's not only the heat of his passion for music and theater and art, but just the energy that he gives off. He's a bright light, he's a flame. As a professional one, a colleague, we worked on something a few months ago. He's mentoring a young playwright out of New York, and I came over to help read and give feedback. So he's still very much rooted in passing it forward. Right. The energy was amazing. As a fellow director, just the ideas that were bouncing off, and I was thinking, good God, I hope this man restarts the Black Rep or comes back and starts doing something so that we can collaborate. I moved to Providence in 2011, and since 2011 I've been craving a home similar to what Don King created at the Black Rep. It was just a warm and open environment where we can do some critical thinking about diasporical works within the African culture that we didn't have to lean to or look into rewriting white art, but to present what we had. And I don't think that really exists here as a whole yet. I would say that some really great names have passed through the Black Rep. As I said, Raffini. I think about Jonathan Louis Dent, who is now in New York, actor that started his own company. I think of Fedna Jacquet. I'm thinking of all these other young faces. Sokeo Ross, who's a dancer, choreographer, who now is out in the world with his own show. And just the way that the Rep pulled us in and embraced us and trusted us with these pieces of work was phenomenal to me. And it's just a piece of my heart is gone, and I wish we could put it back together.